Before they snap it, Bob, or Pontiac games.
Got to have patience on offense to run the football, and then long passes down the field. Win the kicking game. You got to get a touchdown out of your kicking game. Nebraska, just roll on. They lead the nation in rushing offense and avoid turnovers. Don't do anything to help Kansas State win the game.
Two tight end set for the Wildcats. They'll run the option for the first time. The late pitch to Scobie, and he got the first down. Run out of bounds by Booker from his safety spot. But Scobie gets 5, and it's a first down, Kansas State.
What they want to do, just stay on the field offensively, take some time off the clock, protect their defense from that Nebraska rushing game. A little bit behind him, but Scobie's probably seen that before. It's a good first down. It's, you know, you don't want to come in here to a hostile crowd, a tough place to play, go 3 and out, turn the ball over. You want to stay on the field, create some momentum for the ball game.
So first down. Kansas State just inside its own 29-yard line from the shotgun now. And the keeper by Roberson off the right side, and he's got a lot of room to run, and Booker's trying to track him down and can't. Inside the 30, all the way to the 29-yard line goes Roberson. We said, other than Eric Crouch, he's probably the best runner at quarterback in the Big 12. He showed it there.
And it's a good point. He's going to come over to the right side over here from the end zone view. This is a nice play early in the ball game. You can't say enough about Bill Snyder, Ron Hudson, the offensive coordinator, the planning and scheming. They're going to come out with their best plays early in the game, and that was a well-designed play. Moved one of the backs out of the backfield, took the linebacker with him, and a big play by Roberson.
Career long run for L, 43 yards. First down, Kansas State. And now Scobie stood up by Shanley, the outside linebacker, and Scobie loses his hat in that exchange.
Shanley is a walk-on, an ex-walk-on.
Bill Snyder walked out here 13 years ago and now has 103 wins and has done a remarkable job with this Kansas State program.
You know, it's a phenomenal job that he did. When you stop to think where Kansas State was before Bill Snyder came and what he's done since.
5 straight runs for Kansas State. And this might be a pass. Maybe not either. Giving chase and dropping him. Vederill, the linebacker, tracks down Rock Cartwright.
Now that was a pass all the way, but the quarterback who he was trying to throw it back to, there were guys all around the quarterback. If we can see Roberson on this, L's going to try and sneak out, and I think it's Adams, number 98, the end, that doesn't let him get away.
Way back at the 35-yard line now. And it's 3rd down and 17, and that certainly changes the complexion of the Kansas State drive to this point.
That was one of the trick plays that Kansas State had up their sleeves. They pulled it, and it didn't work.
Pulled it early. Now they're going to have to hustle to get this play off. Roberson does. Here comes a blitz. He's hit. Down he goes, way back on the Kansas State end of the field. Jamie Burrow, the middle linebacker. It's a loss of 17. Clanton started to collapse that pocket.
Well, Burrow inside, there's 2 linebackers that come in, and Burrow doesn't get blocked. Burrow shows up big in the big games. He had 17 tackles and a sack versus Oklahoma.
So from a situation where they were almost in the red zone to a 4th and 34. Ronsick to kick. And he's going to be punting near his own 35-yard line.
Now just don't make it any worse by getting it blocked.
That's right. They have the return on. It's an end-over-end punt. Gross thinking about taking it on the bounce, and now he gets out of the way, and this takes a great roll for Kansas State all the way to the 5-yard line. So a 47-yard punt. Eric Crouch will bring out the offense. He talked with us about playing his final game at Memorial Stadium.
I've learned a lot. I've come a long ways in this program. I've accomplished more probably here at Nebraska than I would have anywhere else. And I really exceeded my expectations of whatever I thought would happen here at Nebraska. And so I'm going to be proud walking out on that field, and I'm going to feel great about the game, and I'm going to go out there and play football.
And he's got a first down at his own 5-yard line. On the option, Crouch will keep. And Eric's got 5 to the 10. And that gives him a little bit of breathing room with which to work. Eric Crouch, we talked about his numbers, holds virtually all the records for quarterbacks, more touchdowns than anybody in Nebraska history. And there's his season numbers, 1252 through the air and on his way to possibly a 1,000-yard rushing season.
I think what he's more proud of is the completion percentage, 58%. They're not throwing any more than they have in the past, but they're just throwing better.
Second down at 5 as you look behind Darren Diedrich.
They're stacked for the run.
Here he comes. Diedrich straight up the middle. First down, Nebraska. Out to the 18-yard line. Offensively for Nebraska, here's the big eaters, and Swanee talked about one of them. Volk, Fonety, Garrison, Rutherford, and Ville Waldrop are the hosses up front. Diedrich and Davies in the backfield. Thomas and Gibson, the wide receivers, and Tracy Wistrom, one of the best tight ends in college football when healthy. He's been struggling a little bit, but he'll start the ball game, and there he is on the left side on a first down.
You got 9 guys, 10 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Diedrich, and this time stopped maybe after yard, and the ball is loose, and it's scooped up by Yates. Kansas State says they have it, and they do.
One of the game solutions early on we talked about was for Nebraska, no turnovers. Don't help Kansas State get into this ball game.
Yates with a fumble recovery, and Kansas State at the 20. Here's another look.
Let's take a look.
That ball's out of there.
Ball is out, no question about it. Nebraska is 10th out of 12 teams in giving the football away in the conference. They came in with 18 giveaways. That makes their 19th.
So now they line up right at the Nebraska 20. Golden opportunity again for Kansas State. Last time they went the wrong way and found themselves in a punting situation.
Offside.
Roberson. Looked like Kelsey and several others were flying into the neutral zone. There was red all over the place in the neutral zone.
Well, there was about 12 guys on the Kansas State side of the line of scrimmage.
John Laurie is our referee.
Prior to snap, false start offense, 5 yards, replay.
Okay, so they were drawn off.
Yep.
So that'll back it out to the 25-yard line, 1st and 15.
And that's got to drive Bill crazy. He came in penalties and turnovers this year. They're last in the conference in being penalized, most penalized team in the Big 12. And that's all right if you defensively, but offensively you cannot operate with all the penalties.
2 tight ends set, and now Cartwright and Scobie both come up to try to hear what Roberson is saying. The lone wide receivers to the top of your screen, and that's Brandon Clark. And they'll ride the fullback and the rock. Cartwright inside the 20 down to about the 18 past the original line of scrimmage. He got 7.
Behind the defense, we mentioned the longer the Wildcats stay in this game, this is a confident team coming in. They are 4-4, but this is a team that has beaten Nebraska 2 of the last 3 years, and I can't make the point enough that when you've beaten a team 2 out of 3 years, you're confident.
Second down and 8 now. Tight end Lamone in motion, option, the pitch to Scobie. Scobie wears Booker out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and a long 5. Scobie on his way, it appears, to a 1,000-yard season, and he would be only the 5th Wildcat to reach that plateau. Came in 84 yards shy of that mark.
He's had 5 100-yard games already this year, and as we showed you in the open, he had a huge game. 2 huge games the last 2 weeks.
Back-to-back best rushing weeks in Kansas State history, against Kansas and last week against Iowa State. 3rd down and 5. Again on the option, the pitch is behind Scobie, and that one cost him probably the 1st down. You mentioned the pitch earlier, Bob, that was a little bit behind him. This time coming to the left side, he had to reach back for it.
Well, I think Roberson tried to get the ball out of the fullback Cartwright's belly, and it looked to me like Rock, the fullback, Cartwright, wanted to keep it because he was hanging on, and Roberson looked like he was fighting to get the ball back out.
Kansas State hasn't attempted a field goal in 9 quarters. They've had all kinds of problems, 3 different kickers. It's been horrible on special teams for them.
They've hit the uprights all year long.
Joe Ream will try to make his first field goal from 34 yards. And it's blocked.
The saga continues.
It's been like that all year. And you're talking about a team that just a few years ago had a Martin Gramatica. Guys like that. Ream's brother was a great kicker. But they're having their problems with the field goal unit. They miss another. We're still scoreless. So Tim Demerith gets up high on the special teams to block the kick. And we're still scoreless, and the ball goes back to Nebraska. So we've had the ball loose, and we've had it fumbled around a bit. Still no score, and Nebraska takes over. Maybe 3 yards on the ground before Kansas State brings down Diedrich. And here's that Kansas State defense. Bryant, Reese, Tangiai, and Shull. Lieber, Pierce, and Buell are the linebackers. And in the secondary, Petey, Fagans, McGraw, Proctor, and Newman. A lot of speed back there. Not a lot of size, however. And McGraw is one of the leaders, one of the captains. Oh, quick draw. He calls the signals back there. Second down at 7. Diedrich has both hands around the football as he goes straight up the middle to about the 26-yard line. And it brings up third down short.
Well, no surprise, the defense against a Nebraska offense is sending 8, 9, and 10 guys sometimes up to stop the run. What does that mean? That means that if they make this first down, there may be an opportunity to go down the field in a first down situation for a big play.
Haven't allowed a touchdown in the last almost 2.5 games. Third down at 4. Will keep, and he'll go down at the line of scrimmage. Nice job by Tangiai from his defensive tackle spot.
This is a good defense. This defense is second in the nation against the run.
They're showing it, aren't they?
Yes, they are. This is a design run by Crouch. And Tangiai and Reese and Lieber and Pierce are there to meet him.
Kyle Larson will punt. Phil Bennett's team's done its job to force the kick. And Aaron Lockett, who was such a sensational punt returner last year, hasn't been that this year due to some penalties and some other things. And he just gets out of the way of this ball. And it goes out of bounds at the 29-yard line. So Kansas State gets it back. So far, a battle of field position, a blocked field goal, a fumble that didn't turn into anything. The defenses have controlled so far. We're scoreless. Sprint PCS Game Fact. Nebraska and Kansas State, the only 2 teams ranked in the top 10 in the country in both rushing offense and defense this year. Nebraska #1 on the ground. Kansas State #5. And Nebraska 8th against the run. Kansas State, as Bob said earlier, 2nd in the country. And flags fly all over the field. I always love a penalty right after a timeout.
Yeah, it drives you nuts. Even you don't get the ball snapped.
False start offense.
Got to be 2 guys moving.
Darren Sproles was the guy that was coming from the near side and running basically toward the quarterback.
Snyder returned only 4 starters from last year's offense. And when you do that, you got to, and then 2 of his offensive linemen that did return were injured early in the season and out for the year. So a lot of new people.
No passing fancy here today. Every play's been a run.
Every play's a run.
Sproles coming around, but they'll keep it straight up the middle with the big fella, and he gets past the original line of scrimmage. Joe Hall, about 290 of him. Well, maybe even bigger than that.
Joe who? Dining Hall?
Dining Hall. That's what one of the Nebraska coaches called him, Joe Dining Hall.
He weighs 290. He came a couple of years ago to Kansas State from a junior college. Was a tailback at the time, and he wasn't much smaller than this.
No, he really wasn't.
If they list him at 290, you know he's got to be over 300. They're always more than they list him at.
And it's not like Joe ate himself out of that tailback spot. As Bob said, he was pretty much that size when he got here.
Yeah.
If he fumbled a lot, he'd be a great defensive end.
He would be a good defensive end.
Yeah.
On the shotgun, it'll be the keeper. And a first down run for Roberson. They do that very well out of the shotgun. He picks up 10 yards and a first down. We check in at Times Square Stadium now, and John Saunders.
Right here on the Burger King update, Penn State and Joe Paterno looking for their 4th consecutive victory after losing the first 4 of the season. Bruce Branch, 71 yards on the punt return. They lead the Illini 7-0. Keep this in mind. A win here and getting to 500, and a bowl is well within reach.
That's what Kansas State is thinking as well, John.
Kansas State and Penn State both went through a stretch. Now they're both back. They have confidence.
Here's Sproles taking it on the end around. He's been in motion several times to set up that play. Finally does keep it. He got 4. He's a freshman.
True freshman. Yeah.
5'7", 170-pound speedster. There's some other scores. Oklahoma sputtered early against A&M. They win again. Texas shuts out Kansas 59-0. Oregon early in that big Pac-10 battle against UCLA. BYU, one of the 3 undefeateds, tied with Wyoming right now. And another timeout taken here by Kansas State, their second one here in the opening 10 minutes of the ball game.
Now, see, this is not good coordination between the quarterback on the field and the sideline. Getting the play in, the quarterback understanding what you want. Maybe that's the problem. This is the first year starting for L. Roberson. Maybe it's the play getting in a little bit late. But I would have to say that the problem is that with the quarterback and the player on the field.
Bill Snyder in his 13th year, graduate of William Jewell College in Kansas. 103 of the school's 402 all-time wins. They had the 8 coaches before him. It took 8 guys to win as many games as he's won since he showed up from Iowa as the offensive coordinator for Hayden Fry. He's got this team hoping for a 9th straight bowl game, as we were talking about when John got that report about Penn State. They're looking for their 9th straight bowl appearance. Last year 11-3.
Talk about major turnarounds. 8. Excuse me. Go ahead, Brett.
3-time National Coach of the Year. That's pretty good.
8 straight years with 9 wins. 4 straight with 11 wins. So he, you know, with this program before he took it over, they didn't hardly exist.
You had to go back to 1982, the last time they even had an over 500 season before his arrival. Straight up the middle, the fullback to about the 49. Joe Hall again.
Joe Hall, the ball carrier.
And Craig Bohl looking on, the defensive coordinator. Done a nice job with this Nebraska defense.
Really has. Took over for Charlie McBride, who was a very popular and a long-time defensive coordinator, 18 years. Charlie's here today. It was good to see him yesterday. And
I saw him down getting on the elevator earlier. I said, man, Charlie, you look good. It's amazing what a little rest can do. He just smiled and said, get to work now.
Yeah, the philosophy hasn't changed that much around here, though.
Third down 3 from the gun. They like to run out of this formation, but it will be a quarterback draw. And quite. About a yard shy.
Roberson, the ball carrier.
Well, Kansas State has yet to put the ball in the air. This is a quarterback draw, as you mentioned.
Roberson takes it up the gut, but he's about a yard, almost a yard and a half
shy. He was a tad late. He was back in the pocket too long. There was a hole there. There was a huge gape.
He sold it too long, didn't he?
Yeah. You need to get there when the hole is open. You know, it's not going to be open very long against these guys.
Well, they're not going to punt, and we know they're not going to kick. Here they come, 4th down and a long one. They are 50% on the season.
Look at this.
And they set up the old swinging gate. Now they go over to the football. Everybody to the near side, and Roberson has to call their 3rd timeout, and there's a flag down.
Talking about defensive coordinators and all that other stuff as we just were, Nebraska was ready for anything. When they lined up with 1 center over the ball and 10 guys way to the left, Nebraska was ready. When they moved back, the black shirts were ready for that.
Not only did they have that play lined up, it didn't work, but they took a penalty as well.
And Bob and Brad, here's where experience really pays off. You get a guy like Frank Solich, who's been in Nebraska for a number of years, even while he wasn't a head coach. You develop an understanding of how your opponent likes to work, the things that they're capable of. Then you can get your team prepared for this. They probably have seen this maybe 0 times this season, yet they're ready for it the first time it occurs.
Great coaching. 2 back in the punt return set up, awaiting the kick. And is there going to be a halo violation? I think so. Cornelson, who had a touchdown on a punt return last week, is back there. Flags are down. Derek Yates, I think, is the guy that might have been guilty. He's the one that recovered the Kansas State fumble earlier.
Kick catch interference, 5 yards, first down.
So Kansas State's penalized again. That's their 4th penalty.
Yeah, you got to give him 6 feet.
He's trying to back out of the way, but he only gave him about 3.
Problem is that when you're fighting a guy coming down, covering the punt, and you're fighting somebody that's blocking you, and the punt is short and the guy's coming up, you don't know where that 6-foot ring is. So the closer he gets to you, the closer. I mean, you're running at him, and you don't. It's not intentional. Most of the time.
After running a 40-yard dash, it's hard to put the brakes on sometimes too. Frank Solich. Nebraska. 10 or more wins 3 times for Frank.
Nebraska, Brad, 2 possessions, 3 and out on both of them.
Crouch drops back, and he's got a man open, but he threw it late and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tyler. Kansas State gets it right back. Deron Tyler.
Well, I was wondering when they would go to the air, because if it's 9 or 10 guys against the run, you're going to see the receiver coming from the left side of the screen. This is who he's throwing the ball to right here. He's going to head the ball over to the side. That's a great play. Look at that interception, huh? Great play.
Right in front of Gibson, the intended receiver. As Eric Crouch threw it just a split second too late, and Kansas State's got it right back in Nebraska territory. Not the first trip here in the first quarter, but they're 0 for as far as points. Roberson pump fakes, airs it long. And almost intercepted right back by DeJuan Gross.
Yeah.
Intended for Ricky Lloyd.
Well, when you throw it up, you got single coverage like we mentioned in the game solutions. Patience with the running game and long passes down the field. This is what their recipe has been. This is what Nebraska is expecting. When you get a one-on-one situation, then you got to have your receiver go up and make a play. And that's what it was.
Right through Lloyd's hands. Gross almost had a gift, but couldn't hold it. Now 3 wide receivers all to the near side on 2nd down and 10. K-State at the Nebraska 38. Roberson getting some heat. He's got a man open. He overshot Cartwright, his fullback. The passing game is not the strong suit for Kansas State this year.
No, it's not. They, in fact, they rank 105th in the nation in passing efficiency, and as we mentioned, they rank 5th in the nation in rushing. So running is their game, and passing, if they have to pass, that's not where they want to be.
And now they got a 3rd down and 10. Here's what Bob was talking about. 5th on the ground and 105th in the air. Here comes a blitz. Roberson has time. Overshot. A wide open Aaron Lockett.
He had him
at the 25-yard line. Yep. Lockett had a couple steps.
That's why he's going to come from over here on this side. This is why what Eric Crouch can do is so impressive, because he can run the football and Roberson can run. Here, look how wide open he is. Crouch can not only run the ball very well as Roberson can, but he can throw it pretty well.
Rotzig will have to punt again. DeJuan Gross waiting back at the 10-yard line. Trying to head it to the corner, and he got the corner of the end zone. Touchback. So Nebraska will take over at the 20. Frank Solich, who played here as well as coached here so long under Tom Osborne before taking over as the head coach, but looking back, he was a fullback. He's not the biggest guy in the world. Little Frankie Solich.
Due to undercalling signals, dropping back to throw at the 50, rolls out, he's chased, has to get it away. He's got Solich over, he's got it to 12, the 5, he's in. Frank Solich took that ball and then run, and the Huskers are back in it. Little Frankie Solich, the fullback, cut across.
Look back as a player. He was Still the only Nebraska fullback that's ever rushed for 200 yards in a game. At his size, he was considered the fullback in that formation for Bob Devaney. Barry Alvarez, the Wisconsin coach, was a linebacker on that team, and they actually called him Fast Frankie more than Little Frankie. But nonetheless, he is not the biggest of stature, but he's getting a bigger stature around here right now, especially with a 10-0 record, if they can keep it going.
For sure. You know, he seems a lot looser. He smiles a lot more. This is his 4th year of coaching, and he only has 3 losses the last 3 years.
On the option, it's the fullback. Speaking of fullbacks, and he's close to a first down. I think he's got it. Judd Davies goes straight ahead for about 6 yards. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Pontiac. What would you do with some Pontiac excitement? Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. Mutual of Omaha, providing insurance and financial services. And Dell Enterprise Systems that are easy to build, easy to own, easy as Dell. Perfect day in Lincoln, Nebraska. There is not a cloud to be seen. And we have been here when it's been snowing this time of year. It's gorgeous right now. Diedrich on a pitch, taking it to the corner. And he got the corner out for about 6, maybe 7 yards. Actually, they might have given him more than that. I don't think he flew out of bounds till he almost got to the stick.
This offense has always been very physical. The offensive line, they've got a lot of different ways to get at you. The option, the power game, or the toss game, and they're very bright. There's Fono T, number 77.
Throws one guy down.
On Pierce. Yeah. he's an interesting guy to watch. We'll be watching him all day. Number 77.
He threw one lineman down, then he went after McGraw, the safety. 2nd down and 3. Diedrich got a first down. Bursts out near the 47-yard line. He's quick.
He is quick. And he's strong. He's 225 pounds.
Bob mentioned moved to Toronto when he was 13. Actually grew up before that in Jamaica. 33 yards so far from there on 6 carries. Somebody lost their lid there in the middle of the pile. Helmets flying
some banging
today.
Going on.
Yeah, there's some hitting going on. There usually is between these two teams. It's the 86th meeting at Kansas State. In 86 meetings, there's only won 7 times in Lincoln, and the last one was 1968. Here's Diedrich again, and he dives in to Kansas State territory at the 49-yard line. 4th
possession of the game for Nebraska already here in the first quarter. 2 3-and-outs on punts. Then they had a one-play interception. And now this drive.
Bob and Brad, I think one of the things Nebraska is going to be tested on today is their own individual focus. You know, they could possibly play 14 games this season. This will be their 11th in that year.
2nd down. Here's Crouch by the keeper, Eric Crouch. And a first down to the 37-yard line. Pickup of 12 for Crouch. Just keeps adding to that total.
You know,
came in with 3,166 yards on the ground.
If we talk about the running backs, Diedrich and Davies, but this guy is the most dangerous of all because when he gets turned up, he's faster than any of those guys. Yep. I think we were talking to him yesterday, and only Sweeney, the defensive back, is faster on this ball club than is Crouch.
That's the end of the first quarter. Nebraska and Kansas State scoreless here in Lincoln. An ABC Sports presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Even wasn't a lot to talk about offensively, that's for sure.
Nebraska had 2 turnovers, a fumble and an interception. Kansas State got the ball inside the Nebraska 40-yard line twice and came away with no points.
It's a first down at the 38-yard line. Here's Diedrich. Keeps those legs driving and gets down near the 33-yard line. Terry Pierce, middle linebacker, made the stop.
So look from behind the defense of that offensive line. What I like about the offensive line they do so well is the backside of the cutoff. They get downfield. All the offensive linemen that play for Nebraska that I've ever seen have good feet. They're like dancing bears. They can pull and get around. Or they slide. They're 300 pounds, but they can slither through and get downfield.
Here's Diedrich. Puts a hand down and leads forward to about the 31-yard line. This guy's one of the first guys Frank recruited when he knew he was going to become the head coach. Kind of interesting.
The day before the announcement, I was in Darren Dietrich's home in Canada, and the next day was going to be announced by Tom that he was going to retire, and no one really knew other than myself. I thought it was probably a good time for me to mention to Darren that while I was in his home that come tomorrow there's going to be a new head coach in Nebraska, and I wasn't real sure how he was going to look at that, you know, because Tom's so successful and such a big name around the country. And so I told him that night, and Darren looked at me and said, "Hey, that's great. I got a special in with a head coach."
He's got a pretty good in with a head coach after that first down run too, as he gets to the 26-yard line. It's a good story.
It is a good story. We asked Diedrich about it. He said the same thing. He said, "Hey, that's pretty good. I've had the head coach here recruiting me."
So first down, Nebraska. 10th play of the drive. They've run them all. Here's Crouch, fakes the pitch, and he's dropped in his tracks. Might have lost a yard.
You talk about Solich, Brad. You stop to think. You go back to Devaney and Osborne. They've had 3 coaches here since 1962. That's almost 40 years. They've had 3 coaches.
One of them won 2 championships. One won 3, and Frank's looking for his first, and not a bad record so far.
And because of that continuity in the program, that's why they've been so successful.
Takes a special kind of guy to try to live in those 2 shadows too.
Look at the bunch down here.
2nd and 11. Quarterback draw for Crouch. Nothing. Eric's cut off at the pass again, and it's Henry Bryant that made the play. We talk about the coaching legends. Bob Devaney won a couple of championships. Tom Osborne, when he hit the mid-90s, put 3 together within a 4-year span, and look at all the conference crowns. And when I say shadows, those babies cast a couple pretty good-sized ones right there.
We were over in their building, their football building, and they had a lot of trophies from the Orange Bowl. We had Nebraska down in Miami a lot of times.
They want to get to the Rose Bowl this year.
Yes. 3rd
down and 11. Just about half the pass. Trips up there to the top of your screen, and Crouch down the middle. Boy, threw a strike. It wouldn't have been a first down anyway. Thunder Collins couldn't hold it. He put a lot on that ball, and Thunder laid out for it. Incomplete.
Well, if they go for a field goal, what's it going to be about?
It'll be about 45 yards. 44.
Number 26, Josh Brown.
Josh Brown will try it. It is, as Bob said, a 44-yard attempt. 43 is his longest, and he missed it to the left. So neither kicker has been able to convert. Josh Brown misses, and we're still scoreless. 11 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in the first half. Second-ranked Nebraska misses a field goal opportunity. Score 11:57 till halftime. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew with you from Lincoln, Nebraska, where Kansas State takes over at the 28-yard line. And Scobie brought down after he picks up 5. Time for our Aflac trivia question for the week. Nebraska has won 5 national championships. Name the 3 other teams in the country with 3 or more of those titles. And we'll have the answer for you a little bit later on.
That's a good one.
That's the only one I've come up with all year, but thank you.
I like that one.
2nd down and 5. Starting field position, it's been all Kansas State today. Their average starting field position from their own 43, and Nebraska from their own 17. The only problem for Kansas State is Nebraska's defense hasn't let them do anything with that field position as Kelsey makes the stop.
This is one of the best defenses in the country. They rank 5th coming in, 8th against the run, and they just shutting everybody down.
Kelsey's really playing well lately.
He has been playing well. He leads the team in sacks and tackles for loss with 17.
One of the black shirts, and of course Trev Alberts and Grant Wistrom and Kyle Vanden Bosch all played that rush in, so you have to live up to that when you're playing that spot. Here's Roberson. I don't know if it's a quarterback draw by design, but it doesn't pick up a first down regardless. It's a pickup of 2, and that's it. Here comes the punting unit again. Kelsey again made this stop.
Kelsey on the side, 57. It's Nelson from the other side that's going to flush him out of the pocket. And Kelsey keeps his head up and sees, got good vision, and makes the play.
We told you he's been playing well. That was a heck of a series for Chris Kelsey. And it forces a kick. Bronsick to punt. And the kick again, a wobbler. This one's fielded by Gross. Bounces off a couple would-be tacklers and got out to about the 38, maybe the 39-yard line. John McGraw on the special teams made the stop as Gross will have to put his shoe back on. Our BCS standings coming into the day. Nebraska on top. While Miami was ranked #1 in the polls, Nebraska atop the BCS. Oklahoma struggled a little bit today, but they got going and beat A&M. Oregon, Florida, Washington State, and Michigan round out the top 10. Florida with an all-important game against South Carolina coming up tonight in Columbia. You can see that game on ESPN.
Miami and Oklahoma had some scares today.
They sure did.
You know, Oklahoma, we were talking earlier, can really control its own destiny if they just win the rest of the ballgame.
Eric Crouch off play action, wants to throw a screen back to Thunder Collins, and he's got blockers in front and a lot of green. Thundering down the sideline. Collins all the way to the 16-yard line. Nobody home on the backside defensively for Kansas State. It's a pickup of 45.
One of the things that these teams do is they adjust very quickly to what you're doing defensively. Here it is right here. He's going to thunder over. He's going to play. He's going to go this way. He's going to throw the ball back over to Collins. Little play action fake. Now throws it back. Now look, there is nobody out here. He's got 2 blockers on 1 guy.
He's got Fonady through 1 and then goodbye.
Yes. Garrison, the center, is looking for somebody to block.
First completion is good for 45 yards. Crouch gives off to the fullback, and inside the 15 is Judd Davies.
We got so excited about a completion, I didn't know what to do here.
Well, this might be the most exciting completion of the year. Of course, this is against Oklahoma. And the freshman quarterback with the left hand lays it out 63 yards to Eric Crouch. That is the play that won that game.
And I asked Eric yesterday, I said, did you say anything special in the huddle when that play was called, when the freshman came in? He said, no, I didn't want to say anything to him. I didn't want to make him any nervous. And Stunt said it worked better in the game than it ever did in practice.
Crouch, great move inside the 5. Touchdown, Eric Crouch. What a move he put on at about the 7-yard line, and he scores from 14 out. I think it was Tongiai who was out there flat-footed, but Crouch could put a lot of people in that position. That's going to be his 16th rushing touchdown of the year. The 57th of his career. Extra point by Brown is up and good. So the long pass play to Thunder Collins got him down close, and then Eric Crouch did the rest.
It's like a naked reverse. He's going to fake it in here and then come this way, but nobody goes with him. Stop it right there. There is nobody there. Only the wide receivers are out there with him. Not only does he have tremendous speed and balance, but he's got the quickness and the shiftiness. It's a lethal combination.
Yates is the guy that he faked out of his pants right there, number 12, and then Tongiai was the last guy with a shot.
And Bob and Brad, I think much of that was set up by the fact that in this drive and drives before, what Nebraska did was pound the ball inside. I mean, they've got a good eye back who can run the ball. They can power it up the field. Once you start doing that and getting a defense to pay attention to the inside, the outside should open up, and then a guy like Eric Crouch can take advantage of it.
And Len, you know, these coaches have been together for so long that if they come up against a defense that they're not expecting, or they're doing something to take one thing away, they'll just shift to something else and beat you. And finally, on the 5th or 6th possession, they got it in the end zone.
Round to kick. Lockett back deep. He'll take it from about the 10. Aaron Lockett all fenced in again. One of the great kick returners in the country, and they will not give him anything. Ringenberg, the backup tight end, made the stop on the special teams. Our Nissan drive summary: 62 yards in just 3 plays, a 45-yard throwback screen to Collins, and then Eric Crouch did it from 14 yards out. 7-0 Nebraska.
And it was, you know, this offense is powerful and it's sneaky. It's tricky in some ways, and the trick play got him down there, got him going, and then Crouch took it in.
That's what Bill Snyder talked with you and I and Swanee about so much this week. He said they're so efficient in what they do, and then they'll trick you.
Yeah.
Kansas State play action. Roberson waits, fires deep. He's got a man, and a great diving catch by Brandon Clark.
What a throw and catch.
Clark, they're going to say it hit the ground.
Yeah, it would have been a spectacular catch because the coverage was there.
I thought he had it. This is a guy that had a huge game in that 1-point loss to Oklahoma, Brandon Clark.
He's going to be right down the middle. Craver is going to be on the coverage. You'll see right at the bottom, the coverage is there.
Oh, good call.
Good call. The back judge is right there. Good call.
Great shot of it by our guys from the end zone. 2nd down at 10. Play action again. He wanted to throw a screen or get rid of it. It's intercepted. This is going to be a touchdown. Willie Amos. His 3rd interception of the season. And Amos takes it in 20 yards for a touchdown. No, he didn't get it in. Got it down to the 3-yard line.
I thought
he stepped out at the 3.
Personal foul on the offense, 15 yards. The extra point will be tried.
No, he did get it. The flag was thrown there. Okay.
Yeah, watch. Here's why. Watch the nose tackle. Clanton put the pressure on him. Just runs around the right guard, and he throws it ill-advised. Throw it late to the outside. Amos makes a nice play.
Takes it in for the touchdown, and now the extra point is going to be from way out after the personal foul at the end. So the extra point basically is a 35-yarder, 34-yarder for Josh Brown. The long extra point is no good. So put that one in the books just in case.
Yep.
Missed extra point. But the defense has played so well against Kansas State. An ill-advised throw, as Bob said, and Willie Amos took it to the barn from 14 yards out. 13-0 Nebraska. The world-class jump roper and the fastest guy on this team just took it away and took it to the end zone.
Yeah, they've done that before. A lot of takeaways, a lot of points off takeaways.
Josh Brown with a pop-up kickoff taken by Scobie and whistled dead. I think they called fair catch not to advance. It'll be Kansas State offensively. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Nissan. Nissan driven. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. Capital One, who asks what's in your wallet. And Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular. Outside Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, which becomes a city unto itself every Saturday. And a sea of red. It's quite a scene here. If you've never been here, if you ever get the chance, take in a football game in this city. It's something else. And they start early. I'll put it this way. They go late and they start early.
There you go.
Yeah, it was noisy last night around here.
Oh, yes.
First down from the 21. And here's Roberson. He broke a tackle, and he's got a first down run and then some. Picked up about 17 on the carry. That's what he does well.
He does, and that's what he needs to get that going, to get some confidence in his ability to play in the ball game, because he's not going to throw against this defense a lot. You're going to have to run the football. You know, Nebraska just had a big play for a touchdown, a takeaway, ran it in the end zone. That's good for the defense, but what's bad for the defense is you just scored, you got to go right back out there and play some more.
Well, we have one completed pass so far today, and that was to Thunder Collins. Actually, we had 3 completed if you consider throwing it to the opposition. As Scobie goes out of bounds near the 44-yard line. Our Aflac trivia question. Nebraska has won 5 national championships. Name the other 3 teams with 5 or more titles. Big names, as you might guess. Notre Dame, Oklahoma, including last year's, and Alabama. The storied programs in college football.
Miami has 4, going for another one this year.
And they almost didn't get out of Boston today.
Yep, that's for sure.
Second down, long 4. Empty backfield, the quarterback keeper. He got 2 of it. He'll still need to on 3rd down after we check in with John Saunders at Times Square Stadium. John?
Well, guys, you know that Florida State's in the driver's seat in the ACC unless they stumble against NC State. Ray Robinson 3 yards out, and it's a 21-14 lead now. NC State on top. Florida State right now tied with Maryland.
Chris Ricks already a touchdown pass in that one. Eric Crouch has a long completion to Thunder Collins, and then a 14-yard run. That with Willie Amos's interception return for a touchdown is where we are. 3rd down and 2. And they're out of timeouts, aren't they?
No.
Did they have one left?
They tried to take one while back, but they had a penalty that they didn't allow them to take the timeout.
So now they do use the final one. 6:45 till halftime in Cornhusker land. They're up by 13. The black shirts hoping to stop a 3rd and 2. That's John Clanton, and he's taking over for Jason Lohr, who blew his knee out earlier.
He was responsible for that interception for a touchdown, pressuring the quarterback.
3rd down and 2. On the option. Pitch. Scobie's got the first. Taken out at about midfield and picks up the 1st down. Our Pacific Life game summary. To this point, not a lot of passing. No passing yards for Kansas State. And they haven't done anything off the 2 Nebraska turnovers.
No, they haven't.
And Eric Crouch has the touchdown run. Nebraska almost 100 yards on the ground rushing. And, of course, they got that one pass to Thunder Collins. But keep in mind, Willie Amos's interception.
There you go. If I were Willie Amos, I'd say, hey, get me in your summary.
That's right. Now we got Willie in there. No gain on that play as Jamie Burrow made the stop on Scobie. Jamie Burrow, his daddy played here in the mid-70s.
Yep. I'll tell you what, he's a beneficiary of those 2 tackles up in front of him, though. John Clanton and Jeremy Select, 55 and 56, right in front of him, doing a lot of good things to allow Burrow just to run and make plays. Not only did his daddy play here, but his
5th generation on his mom's side. They had a lot of people going to Nebraska in that family. Incomplete pass again as Roberson's hit by the rush of Nebraska on a pass intended for the tight end Warren.
Yeah, Burrow's dad is a GA. He was a high school coach or a college coach, and just this year for the first time at Nebraska as a graduate assistant.
Well, Jamie grew up in Ames, Iowa, and his dad was an assistant at Iowa State and loved Iowa State football. But you go where your dad went and where your mom had 5 generations going. You're Cornhusker. He waited 5 years to wear a black shirt. He's proud of it.
The thing I like, Jamie, the player, was here before his dad came back.
You got to love that.
Yeah.
3rd down and 10. Roberson wants to throw a wide-out screen. That might be holding or pass interference. Nope. It was Vedral who hit the intended receiver. No flags, and Kansas State's got to give it up.
Yeah, they got away with one there.
He looked like he had a wing, didn't he?
Yeah, I think they got away with one. That was one of the things. Take a look at the end zone. Go ahead and run it. And we'll look to the left side. Look to the left side. We're going to stop it right about here. Look at this. Look at that right there. Vedral. Whoa.
Just about took Lockett's elbow off.
That's what he was trying to get to.
Here's a punt. Gross trying to get everyone out of the way. Takes a Kansas State bounce all the way down to the 7-yard line. Out of bounds. Nice kick. 43-yard kick pins them down inside the 10-yard line. Reminder, next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, number 4 Oklahoma heads to the Lone Star State to take on Big 12 opponent Texas Tech. Other regional action, Syracuse and Miami, Washington State and Washington, and Michigan against Wisconsin in the Big 10. Check the local listings for the game in your area. And of course, one of the 3 unbeatens is here. Miami stayed that way, had a late scare. Boston College had a 1st and goal, and Ed Reed took an interception about 90 yards for a touchdown. BYU also undefeated coming in. Here's Diedrich, and he's upended after he picked up about a half yard. Deron Tyler from the corner tripped him up. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9. 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Nebraska leading 13-0.
Talking to Phil Bennett during the week, the defensive coordinator, he says in the past we've had success slowing down their running game by slanting our defensive linemen up front, slanting the defensive linemen and forcing the pitch. We want the ball out of Crouch's hands into anybody's hands.
There's a pitch to Diedrich. They fake the end around, and he keeps it out to about the 22-yard line. Now, that's one thing that Bill Snyder talked about as well. He said, you know, if you make Eric Crouch pitch it, at least you know he's not going to get it back.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Pick your poison, huh? He doesn't want it in his hands. He's like we mentioned, he's got some speed.
Here's a 3rd down and 7 coming up for Nebraska. Crouch hustles into the huddle with the call from the 22-yard line. Both wideouts to his right.
We got single coverage out there too.
Now man in motion. There's play action. He wants to throw to Davies, his fullback, but he couldn't keep his footing. Was thrown behind him, and Judd hits the turf. Actually lost yardage. It'll bring up 4th down and 9.
Yeah, if that ball is up where he can catch it, he's got a lot of room to run.
So another completion, but it's for a loss of a couple. And the punt will come for Nebraska. Back near their own goal line. There's Lockett waiting in the shadows. Kyle Larson to punt.
Lockett returned 3 punts for touchdowns last year.
Averaged almost 23 yards of punt return. Topped the nation. Whoop, there's a bad snap. And it's blocked. Kansas State stuffs it after a bad snap, and they've got it inside the 10. Terrence Newman is the guy that got there.
Well, Kansas State has had great special teams in the past. They haven't shown up too much this year. It starts off with a bad snap, which delays it, and then they had a block on.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, if they had a return on, nobody would have been close to it.
There's the snap. He did what he could, but Newman was there, and then Deron Tyler was the recipient of the fumble recovery.
He's going to come right through here. He's going to go a little swing around the side, and then he gets right up in front.
Kansas State will go 2 tight ends and an I backfield now. 1st and goal at the Nebraska 7.
Got to score here.
Scobie puts his head down, and he's throttled after a yard gain.
That's the 3rd turnover that Kansas State has gotten from Nebraska, and they have yet to score.
2nd down and goal.
I mean, you'd love to get a touchdown here at Kansas State, but at least you got to get on the board.
Nebraska hasn't given up one on the ground in 11 quarters and only 4 all season.
4 all season, and Kansas State has rushed for 25 touchdowns on the ground, so something's got to give.
Won't you use a little option here when you've got a guy that can run it?
I think you do what he does best, and that's it.
Here it comes. He'll keep it, and it's a touchdown.
Nice call, partner.
Roberson takes it 5 yards for the score.
Well, they just had the score on this one. If they hadn't scored, Snyder would have had a tough time firing his troops up to come back out for the second half.
Good point. So finally a turnover turns into a touchdown. And Al Roberson with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, we talked about early on the game solutions that they needed some turnovers and takeaways to help them against this Nebraska team, and they've gotten 3.
Even the extra points have been a circus this year, but Ream knocks this one through.
Extra point is good.
And courtesy of a block punt, a couple plays later, it's Roberson for the touchdown, and the lead's been cut to 6.
end zone view of this. Here's Burrow, the middle linebacker. He's going to overrun the play just a tad. The ball starts. He thinks it's going to be an option. Now look what he's got here. He sees this lane back in here, and that's where Roberson wants to get to. He sees it. Amos keeps running. He thinks it's going to go wide. That's just a nice play by a quarterback doing what he does best. And this is what set it up. The Kansas State special teams over the years under Bill Snyder have been outstanding.
Joe Ream now to kick. Josh Davis 3 yards deep. Will bring it out. Davis got out near his number, out to about the 24-yard line. That's where Nebraska will go to work. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Nissan. Nissan driven. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. Capital One, who asks what's in your wallet. And Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular. From the Midwest on a gorgeous day in Lincoln, Nebraska. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew from Memorial Stadium. There Nebraska leads. Eric Crouch squirts out of that pile, and he goes out to the 37-yard line. 13 yards just like that. He can stop and start on a dime.
They've got plenty of time to score. I mean, it doesn't take Crouch long to run. He's just going to go right up in this hole over here to the right side. He's going to fake the Thunder Collins right here. And then it has a tackle that's Volk coming around. He's got the speed to take it all the way.
Sure does. Out to the 37. Eric's got 50 yards rushing now. The ABC Crouch Bowl. Yeah, that'd be good. He broke a tackle here. Keeps his balance. And got 2 or 3. Melvin Williams, the guy that put the pressure on, and Eric spun out of his grasp.
Eric's had.
They'll take a timeout.
Yeah, he's had some amazing runs this year. Bill Snyder mentioned the one at Missouri when he was in the end zone. Keeps his balance there, but he was in the end zone, backed up in his own end zone, avoided a sack for a safety, and ran like 97, 98 yards. Take a look.
Watch this. He makes about 7 guys miss and goes 95 yards.
He made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. 7. Outruns the 8th guy.
And then goodbye. 95-yard touchdown run. One of the great plays in college football this season. And then he just walks back like nothing happened. As Swanee said, you run 95 yards, you want to gas out in the end zone. I mean, that's a long ways.
Yeah.
And he is fast. Not many guys ever beat him in sprints in high school. He talked with us about that.
When I was a junior in track in high school, never won a race, never got a gold medal. And then I told myself, you know, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can in the off season. And then when I was a senior, I got all gold medals in my sprinting 100 and 200, except in the state in the very last race. I lost to Erwin Sweeney, who's on the team, so I guess that's okay.
Erwin Sweeney, the only guy that ever beat him as a senior in the sprints. He said, as long as he's one of my guys, that's okay. There's Erwin on the sideline. It's a 2nd down and 8. Nebraska, 2 timeouts remaining. A little over 2 minutes, and Crouch goes down this time. Nice play. Andrew Shull, the sophomore defensive end out of Webb City, Missouri, same hometown as Grant, and Tracy Wistrom makes the stop. 2 minutes left in the half, and coming up at halftime, the Capital One halftime show. John Saunders and Terry Bowden will be along from Times Square Stadium in New York with all the scores and highlights from today's games. And Nebraska going to take another one right here to talk it over with 1:48 remaining in the half. Little confusion as to the play call of the formation. So a timeout with 1:48 left. Reminder coming up Monday Night Football, 9 o'clock Eastern. Pittsburgh. A great season so far with Baltimore breathing down their necks, surprising Cleveland. Cleveland would be even better had it not been for another miracle finish by the Bears. So tough conference.
They're all in it, yeah. You know, don't turn off your TV anymore in the NFL. They're all close games.
Californians for Nebraska. Yeah. They like that. They like that idea.
And this would be, I think the Rose Bowl hosting the national championship game is terrific. It's great for college football. Everybody in college football has a shot at it. These Cornhusker fans here really have a shot at it.
You'll see it January 3rd on ABC. 3rd down and 8. Crouch fakes one way, shovel pass. Collins dropped it. It's incomplete. So they thought they had the right play lined up, but Collins doesn't hold it, and Nebraska's got to give it up.
Well, the defensive line that time got in and just caused a little bit of havoc in the backfield. Frank will have some nice things to say to him at halftime, some nice adjustments, and they'll come back out. Bill Snyder paid Solich a nice compliment about the adjustments they made against Oklahoma coming out for the second half.
Remember, the last punt was blocked. This snap is clean. Not the greatest punt in the world, off the near side, and it takes a huge Kansas State bounce right in front of their bench. It went about 10 yards back the other way. So Kansas State's got good field position. That's only a 26-yard kick. And Kansas State's got 137 to work with, but no timeouts remaining. They trail by 6.
Kansas State hasn't done a lot, but they've done just enough. And Nebraska, we talked about it early, has committed 3 turnovers, and they've had 1 punt blocked that was taken in for a touchdown by the offense.
And the big thing you said, even if it's just 13-7, they've got something to hang their hat on at halftime.
For sure.
Out of the shotgun. Fakes it to Cartwright, and Roberson keeps it. Nice game. And the ball came loose at the end of the play.
Really?
I don't know. The officials are saying it was down right there.
But you talk about going momentum and emotion and going into halftime. Nebraska will go in leading if it stays the way it is, but they'll go in feeling down, and Kansas State will be behind, and they'll be feeling pretty good. Yeah, no question he was down before the ball came out. 2nd down and 2.
Pickup of 8 on the last play. Morel Roberson. And he'll just keep it. This is a run all the way, and he's got a huge hole to run through. Roberson's all the way to the 35-yard line. Boy, that opened up nicely. Good blocking, 21-yard run.
From behind the defense, Willie Amos, number 27, is going to miss a tackle here. He had a lot of room.
Cartwright got a nice block on Vedral, the linebacker, and he was off to the races.
There's Amos with the missed tackle.
They still got 44 seconds to work.
No timeouts.
No timeouts. Stopped momentarily for the first down to move the sticks, and now Roberson got about 3 more, and they're going to have to hustle now.
Bob, as you talked about the Kansas State offense, not a big passing offense, but with the Nebraska defense looking for some kind of pass, there's all kinds of room in the middle.
Let's see if they go that way. They're going to go long for Lockett. He's out there. Just overshot him. He didn't get his arms out.
That was close.
That was close.
Had a shot. That's what their offense is. That's their style. We mentioned in the opening how they like to go for the long balls.
Roberson's 0 for 8. Did Lockett even get his hands out for this? No, he just couldn't quite get there.
Just couldn't catch up with it. Ricketts was there on the coverage. But this is the way they operate. Run, 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 and then take shots downfield or the little wide receiver screens.
Kansas State hasn't completed a pass yet. 14 seconds left to work. They trail by 6 as we approach halftime. He pump fakes one way. Now he goes deep middle where Swanee talked about. Touchdown to Lockett. Right down the middle. 37 yards, and they're a point away from taking the lead.
That's a good play on both ends and a nice call by Swanee. Roberson just bought some time in the pocket, and Lockett just kept coming to the middle of the field. The first pass completion of the day to his own team.
Extra point is good. Kansas State leads with 6 seconds left in the half. Wow. Here's another look.
Watch the offensive protection. He sets up deep, and then he steps up into the pocket and then just lays it to the inside. And he gets there before the two defenders get there.
That's a good throw.
Yes. Lockett on the outside gets the release from Gross. But it's inside. Ricketts is against him inside and makes the play.
Nothing like waiting to get a big play right before halftime, huh?
Well, they kept throwing it downfield, and they kept keeping it away from the defense. And sooner or later, that's why he's only completing 40% of his passes. When you throw it long, you're not going to complete many, but when you do, it's going to be a big one.
Kansas State with 14 unanswered points in the last 3 minutes of this half. 2:57 to be exact. And the Wildcats have something to cheer about. Line drive kick, which should end the half. Picked up by one of the tight ends. Ringenberg on the return, and that will do it. From a 13-0 deficit to a 14-13 lead for Bill Snyder. Halftime, 14-13 Wildcats. We'll be joining John Saunders and Terry Bowden at Times Square Stadium in New York for the Capital One halftime show right after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Well, John and Terry are going to have to wait. They put 2 seconds back on the clock. Nebraska's got one play from the 39. Crouch. He'll take off on the run. This will pad Eric's statistics. That's about it. Now the first half comes to a close. And at halftime, the undefeated second-ranked Cornhuskers are in some trouble. They know they're in a fight. As Bill Snyder's team in the final 3 minutes puts 14 points up, courtesy of first a block punt that 2 plays later turned into a touchdown, and then Roberson, after doing it on the ground, did it through the air. And his Wildcats go to the locker room, surprising Nebraska by a point. John and Terry are coming up. And Lincoln, Nebraska trailing by a point. 14-13 is our halftime score. We welcome you back to Memorial Stadium. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy. I remember at the beginning of the game, you said win the kicking game and throw the long ball. Well, a block punt turned into a touchdown. And if you're Al Roberson and you're only going to complete one pass, make it a long one for a touchdown.
And the other thing we said was turnovers. You know, what equalizes teams very quickly are turnovers. You hear coaches say it all the time. And special teams in the kicking game. And Kansas State, to get back in with Nebraska, has done one of each. They have blocked the punt that led to a touchdown, and they've got 2 turnovers that led to a touchdown.
Yeah, we knew Eric Crouch would be involved as well, obviously. In the first half, Eric, off that play fake from the shotgun, just took it, put a great move on at about the 12, and took it in for a 14-yard touchdown. And then it was the defense. Willie Amos picks off this pass and takes it home for the score. But then Roberson from 5 yards out after that block punt, and then going deep. This is his only completion of the first half. It's Aaron Lockett. It's good for a touchdown. Remember, Nebraska missed an extra point. That's where we are. First half, statistically, look at that average starting field position for Kansas State.
43-yard line. That's impressive. And then the 2 turnovers by Nebraska. What is not in there is the block punt that led to a touchdown. Nebraska having a kick block.
Let's check in with Swanee on the field.
Thank you, Brad. You know, well, I talked to Bill Snyder as he left the field, and he basically said that he feels that Kansas State was responsible for every point, his and Nebraska's on the scoreboard, because they turned the ball over, or they took advantage of the turnover, or they made the mistakes that allowed Nebraska to score on that one drive where Eric Crouch goes in for the touchdown. I said to him, this reminds me of the old Big 12, where you gut it out, you play hard, you smash mouth kind of football. He says, well, not quite. He says, yes, we're running the ball well, but if we're going to win this ball game, we're going to have to throw the football up top and make more big plays. Brad?
All right, we'll see if they can.
Both teams are great at adjusting at halftime. Frank Solich is great at it, and so is Bill Snyder.
Nebraska has not trailed in the second half this year, so this is new territory for them. Reams kick. Josh Davis will field at the 6. Out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line, and that's where Nebraska will go to work. Our Morgan Stanley well-connected storyline. Roberson only completed 1 pass, but he ran for 97 yards. And Lockett, that touchdown catch for him, put the team out in front of Nebraska. Crouch, a rushing touchdown and 63 yards, and Willie Amos, the other score on the interception return.
Both offenses doing very well on first downs, as you might have noticed.
Just outside the 23-yard line, the Huskers go to work, and it's Diedrich. Darren Diedrich out across the 28-yard line. Josh Buell made the stop. Darren had some big holes to run through in the first half. He did fumble once, but it didn't turn into any Kansas State points, as K-State actually had 3 possessions that started in Nebraska territory and only came away with 7 points. And there's Darren's numbers so far in the ball game. 2nd down and 5. He'll get it again. Keeps the leg drives and gets across the 32, close to the 32.
Nebraska had the ball for 7 possessions in the first half and only scored on 1 of those offensively. They had an interception by their defense that scored the other touchdown.
One of the other big plays offensively, remember, for Nebraska was that throwback screen to Thunder Collins that covered 45 yards and set up Eric Crouch for his touchdown run. 3rd down, a long one. Crouch keeps it, cuts outside, and I don't know. I don't think so.
That's a nice play by McGraw, the free safety. I think he's going to stop him short of a first down.
Eric looking at the spot. John Laurie, the referee, says we're going to take a look at this thing. And so they'll bring the sticks in. I think he's about the length of the football short, however. So they'll bring the chains a short way out. And take a look at the spot. Opening possession of the 3rd quarter, always so important. I'm wrong. He's got the first down. Phil Bennett, defensive coordinator, thought his team has held, but Nebraska gets it, and it's a first down. Just outside the 33-yard line.
Be careful here now. We have Tom Osborne standing right next to us. We're going to talk to him in a minute. And I kind of get these vibes. He used to call plays on the sideline. This might be an opportunity to go downfield when you thought you were going to be stopped for a first down and then you made it. This might be the time to go up top. You got single coverage on the wide receiver down here at the bottom.
It's Wilson Thomas wide to the left on the option. Wow. What a hit on Crouch, and it's quick draw McGraw again.
That's
McGraw,
the guy
got him last time.
This kid McGraw is an outstanding player. He's a 5th-year senior, plays the violin, is a finance major, and is an all-American type kid. Coming up from the left side right there. Oh boy, I don't think Crouch ever saw him.
I don't think so either. So at the 30-yard line, back-to-back plays by the safety McGraw. And it'll be 2nd down and a long 13. Crouch drops to throw, quarterback draw, flags you down. Eric got back near the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it. We're going to move Bob Greasy this way, and we're going to welcome Coach Osborne. I guess I should say 3rd District Congressman now. Coach, I can't get used to that. You walk in, I immediately say, hey, Coach, how you doing? It's great to see you.
Well, thank you. I answer to a lot of names anymore. I'm not offended by anything you call me.
I don't know the geography of this state. 3rd District is where?
Well, it's really the western 85% of the state, so a lot of driving, mostly rural, mostly small towns, but I really enjoy it out there.
Well, I know they enjoy having you out there. You're back here for a ball game of very huge magnitude, really. Nebraska rolling along, but Kansas State always plays them tough.
Well, they've got some good athletes. They're playing real tough. They're involving their safeties in the run, and eventually Nebraska's going to probably have to throw to the post.
And here comes a throw, and it's complete. And it's a first down out at the 48-yard line.
It sounds like a play caller to me on the sideline. You were one of the best, Tom. I often compared you to Steve Spurrier, and I thought Spurrier did a great job in his style of offense of calling plays. There you look at Gibson making the reception on a curl. But I thought in your style of offense, you did just as well a job of calling plays in this system. Do you miss that part of it?
Yeah, I do. As you know, football becomes a chess game, and you really enjoy that. You enjoy trying to match up, and so that's the part I probably miss most as far as football.
Here's a toss. The Diedrich got out to about the 49. Tom, that last play, Gibson got the first down. He's a guy that's played through a lot of injuries and a guy that played for you. There's 17 guys, I guess, out here today that you coached.
Well, most of the players that redshirted as freshmen. And, of course, John had a bad ACL injury, so he was out a year. And so I started out with a lot of these guys, including Crouch. And, of course, after this year, I won't know very many of the players.
You had so many great quarterbacks that have played here. Number 7, something special, isn't he?
Eric is a great player. He's really a tough player. He gets a lot of yards after contact.
Here's a pitch. Diedrich's got a wide open field. He's got the corner, but McGraw drags him down. Still, he got about 18 yards on the run. And Nebraska's got something working on offense.
This is what Phil Bennett told us. He wanted to get the ball out of Eric Crouch's hands. You've got to respect the fullback, stop him, force the quarterback to throw, and whoever was supposed to pick up the pitch man wasn't out there. I guess it was McGraw. He got there a little late.
And it's inside the 32 with another first down. Diedrich on his way maybe to another 100-yard game. Came in as the #1 rusher in the Big 12 with almost 1,100 yards. That's his best run of the day. He'll get it again, this time straight up the middle, and he bounces off McGraw and got down to about the 26-yard line. Coach, we're going to let you go back and watch the ball game. I want to ask you one other thing. Obviously, Coach Devaney, before you, a couple of championships. You won 3 in the great decade of the 90s, and now your main assistant, Frank Solich, and I know you'd like nothing more to see them go 14-0 win the Rose Bowl.
Well, they've got a great chance. We've got a very balanced team, good offense, defense, kicking. Frank and his staff have done a great job, and so I hope we can get it done. We've still got Colorado left and probably Oklahoma, so we'll see what happens.
Coach, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's been great to be with you guys.
Tom, it's always a pleasure. We miss seeing you down in Miami at the Orange Bowl, too.
Okay, Bob. Great to see you again. Thank you.
Buddy.
And again, I call him Coach. That's an automatic.
I'll always call him
Coach. I know. So we thank him for joining us, legendary coach of the Cornhuskers, and now his team. And Frank Solich's team has got something moving here. So important on the opening drive of the third quarter. We talk about it, it seems like week in and week out, and this first 5 minutes has belonged to Nebraska. Diedrich hurdles the man, gets down to the 16.
Well, Nebraska takes the ball on the opening kickoff second half after making adjustments at the halftime and moves it all the way down the field. Now they just need to convert once they get down there.
Took the crowd a little while to get back into it. They were stunned by the final 3 minutes of the second quarter. And now the Huskers at the 16-yard line, the 12th play of the drive. Crouch hit and drops. Nice play defensively. And it's Terry Pierce, the middle linebacker. Loss of 2 on the play. Pierce was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Freshman of the Year, I should say, last year.
Here he is right here, Brad. Watch him as he's just going to flow. He's going to watch the flow of the option, and he's assigned to take the quarterback. Fights off the block of Galladay. Good play.
And he's the picture-perfect size for a middle linebacker, 6'3", 250. Third down, big play here for both clubs. Third down and 8 at the 18-yard line. Crouch keeps it, has an opening. Eric Crouch into the end zone. He got down to the 1-yard line. 17 yards for Crouch.
He is so dangerous. That time Nebraska, who is not known for the passing, spreads him from left to right with wide receivers, and you got to send guys out there with them. But you always have the threat of Eric Crouch. McGraw goes down on a nice block, and he just misses getting in the end zone.
He's got more moves than bad Mexican food. First and goal. Diedrich dropped for a loss of a yard. Josh Buell made the play. 8:19 remaining in the third quarter. It is Kansas State by a point, and a second and goal Nebraska coming up. Crouch has already rushed for 1 touchdown today. 57 on his career. He looks to the sideline. They send in some new bodies, including Wistrom, the tight end.
You add up the touchdowns passing and rushing, and he's had 87 in his career.
Diedrich's the I-back. Wistrom, the tight end, is out on the left side. 2nd and goal. Diedrich on a toss sweep to the end zone. Got there. Touchdown. Gonna go for 2 here. Wistrom got out there and got a good block for Diedrich. 2-yard score.
That was one block, but watch Fonoti, the big offensive guard, number 77. This is what you call a pancake. Right there, when you take the man to the ground, that's the pancake. That was one of them. They had a couple of pancakes.
Yep. Wistrom got one, and then Diedrich did the rest as he carried Yates in with him. 2-point conversion. Crouch wants to throw for it. Has a man open. Whoa! Incomplete.
That looked like a wild pitch.
Yeah, that was way off.
That looked like it squirted out of his hand.
There's a flag down in the end zone. They might have had a holding. He looked like he had a tight end wide open, and that ball, I don't know if it slipped or what. He had a guy standing back there, and he almost hit the goalpost with a pass. Now, with a penalty, half the distance, does that change what they want to do and maybe go option here?
Well, yes. I say, this is a running team, and, the chances of them making it passing are probably a lot less than the chances of them running the football in.
Just outside the 1. Diedrich, 2-point conversion's good. There you go.
Very impressive drive. First drive, second half.
Nebraska by a touchdown. Darren Diedrich got the score. Darren Diedrich got the 2. 21-14 Huskers. Roses are red. Nebraska is 2. Here we come, Pasadena. Goodbye, KSU. They're going to have to make up at least 2 more signs, though, before that. Colorado and then the Big 12 championship. But this one's not over either. Penalty marker on the field.
It's just to delay a game after a fair catch signal. It's only 5 yards.
You can't advance a fair catch, and they've been trying to explain that to the Kansas State players for a quarter now, and they're not getting it.
Let's go back to the 2-point conversion. Watch the tight end right here. Right there, right here is the hold by McGraw, 38. That got a flag and got another try for Nebraska on a 2-point try, which they made.
Nebraska's drive was 77 yards for the touchdown. Swanee. It's so loud I don't think Lynn can hear me. Swanee. All right. That's the kind of noise this place is putting out right now.
This is live. I can't hear you because the crowd here is just so loud.
Here's a toss. Scobie to about the 20, only a yard gain.
It's an educated crowd, Brad. They turn up the volume at the right time, then they just go right back down. But after that 2-point conversion, Bill Snyder was very upset talking to the officials, not so much about the holding call against Kansas State, but a holding call he felt that should have been called against Nebraska when they took it in for the touchdown. Seems like Fonoti had his hands in the pancake batter.
Yeah, they got the syrup going right now. And Cartwright is not giving that one up. Bob said earlier it looked like he wanted to keep it, and he almost took Roberson's hands with him on that one. First down run.
If you don't watch out, Roberson is going to be hanging on. He's going to be flapping out the backside as he grabs that ball and goes.
Rock Cartwright is 5'8", 240-plus pounds.
He's a fire plug.
He just ran for 10 yards and a first down. At the 30. Oh, what a play on defense by Clanton.
He's been making plays all day, Clanton. The umpire just saying don't be celebrating too much or draw a penalty.
He did.
Number 55, center of it. He's the one that caused the poor throw and the interception. He's already had a 20-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown this year, so he's making some plays in the middle.
That was against Troy State, and you saw the hands up celebrating a little bit. They didn't call anything. Nebraska with 38 sacks after a season low last year of 25, and they've got another one. The defense coming to life for this crowd on Seniors Day.
Adjusting after halftime. First series coming out. Vedro, number 9's coming. Adams, 98, is free. It's a jailbreak on the quarterback.
They can share that sack. Adams was 6.5 on the season. Listen to the crowd now. It's 3rd down and 23.
Yeah, here you just don't make a mistake. 3rd and 23. A punt is okay.
It's the 4th time it's been 3rd and 10 or more. Roberson got the pass away, but it's incomplete again. It was pressure. Slekta that time put on the heat. Kansas State's got to give it up. Is back, and this is where Ronsick doesn't want to make a mistake. He's back near his own goal line. Remember, Nebraska had one blocked in the first half.
Well, you pick and choose the best time to go for a punt block.
They look like they're loaded up.
Nope.
They back out of it, and it's a nice kick. Gross from the 41. Gross, look out! Look out! He might go. Dylan Gross has one man to beat. He's not going to get him. Touchdown!
This was supposed to be a middle return right up the center. He starts that way and then uses his speed to outrun the Wildcats and Cartwright around the end.
60-yard punt return for the touchdown, and Josh Brown for the point after, and it's good. Just like that, Nebraska has scored 2 quick touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. The Huskers lead 28-14.
Let's go back and take a look. Sometimes all these red shirts come over here and you have a left return. Sometimes all the red shirts come over here and you have a right return. But look at this. Look where all the red shirts are. This is a center return, and they want to get them right up the middle.
Again, they do the high kick to keep it out of Lockett's hands. Taken by Pierce, the linebacker, on a fair catch, and Kansas State will have to work again from that spot.
And when you have a center return, you aim back up the center. All the red shirts just try to find somebody and stay with them. And Gross does a great job of taking that center return and says, hey, I see something to the left. I think I'm going out there, boys. And he made a big decision.
60-yard touchdown. L. Roberson now, will he have to throw? He's 1 for 10 throwing the football. They'll keep it on the ground on the option, and he keeps it himself, and he's into the secondary. Roberson's got a pickup of about 13, and he's out near the 40-yard line.
They won't go to their throwing game, Brad, because that's not what they are. They'll make a big play running this play right here. If they need a big play, they'll pitch it to Scobie, or they'll keep with Roberson, and they'll just make a big play there.
If you can pick up 13 yards every time, you got it going. He's got 97 yards on 14 carries. And a touchdown, throwing and running. From the 39. Flags down, and they blow the play dead.
Washington moved.
Prior to snap, full start offense, 5 yards, replay first down.
They check in now, John Saunders, Times Square Stadium in New York. John?
Brad, the Burger King update. NC State facing Florida State. Chris Ricks not having a great day, but he's keeping his team around. 22 yards here to Tallman Gardner for the touchdown. They come back once again, but trail 24-21. Brad.
What is that, about 7 touchdown passes to Gardner in the last 3 weeks?
I think Chris Ricks and Gardner got something going.
First down and 15. And it's a keeper by Roberson, and another nice run. He gets out to the 45-yard line. Pickup of 11.
Well, Vedral had an opportunity to tackle him and make the play in the backfield, but Roberson just gave him a slip step and picked up some nice yardage. Watch Vedral, number 9. He's going to be the guy that has a shot in the backfield. Right there.
Overran it. Second down and 4 coming up for Kansas State. A little under 3.5 to go, third quarter. They now trail by 14. Play action. Roberson going to go long, and it's intercepted by Amos again. Amos has 1 touchdown today. Roberson's the only guy with a shot at him, and he got him at the 15-yard line. 50-yard return by Willie Amos. You said it's not their forte, and they tried it anyway.
He's just not open, and you can't throw the football. He has great protection. He's waiting for him to come open. He's waiting, but he's not open. He's got 2 guys on him, and he underthrows the football. Amos picks it off and really wants to get in the end zone, but doesn't make it.
Roberson cut him off, or he would have scored.
There was 3 guys there, really. There's 3. Booker 14 was beyond those. Sometimes you just can't throw the football there.
Here's Thunder Collins. Down to the 11, maybe inside of the 10. Corey White made the tackle.
Now it's Nebraska's turn offensively to do something with that turnover. Frank Solich calling the plays. I made a statement about 4 years ago when Frank first took over that they would probably miss Tom Osborne more as an offensive coordinator than they would as a head coach, because Tom was so good at calling plays. I think Frank is as good as Tom was almost after 4 years.
2nd and 7. The option. Number 7's got it. Crouch. Down to the 5. Terrence Newman saved a touchdown. Crouch got 6. We approach 2 minutes in the third quarter, and Nebraska's got it inside the Kansas State 5 again, and they got 3rd down and about a yard. So they can do whatever they want here because they're only a yard from a first down. They can get it 1st and goal inside the 4. They can try to get a touchdown. Whatever. Right now, 3rd and 1. Collins. I think he got the 1. And it'll be 1st and goal at about the 3.
Glad the defense is loving it. Not that the defense should be tired. They really haven't been on the field that much. But at least if the offense stays on the field for a couple more plays, the defense can get it, catch its breath a little bit, regroup and say, okay, boys, let's go back out and do it again.
Yeah, they're going to have to load up down there. They're going to bring the chains out to look at this.
Here's your boy, Fanoni, right here. Watch, he's just going to come around. Watch this footwork. Watch his dance. He slides around. Now here's your other pancake.
Oh, jeez.
That's not fair.
How would you like to be a DB and see number 77 coming after you?
As a wide receiver, what I do is say, look, I got to go one-on-one against this guy. Here's his number. Next time you go in that secondary, soften him up a little bit for me.
I think he just did that on that last
a guy that big, 340 pounds they list him at, with such good feet, he just kind of, he's light on his feet.
1st and goal, Nebraska. The toss to Collins. And Kansas State all over it. We got a penalty marker in the end zone. Strange spot where the flag was thrown for where the play ended. Illegal chop block. That's why. Our Dodge drive summary. Nebraska in this third quarter. 2 drives, one of them 77 yards in 15 plays, took over 7 minutes. And the current drive, 3 plays for 10 yards, and it is coming after a 50-yard interception return.
Yeah, the second half has been all Cornhuskers.
Bob, what was it that Frank Solich told us in the meeting? He said a lot of times our team will come out and play in the first half, and it may not look like we're doing a whole lot, but we don't panic, because some of what we're trying to do is not really going to get done until the second half. We wear them down, we kind of develop our strategy a little bit, and we feel comfortable with what we're doing, then we go after them.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's exactly what they've done.
Now they have a 1st and goal back at the 19-yard line after the penalty. Crouch will work from the shotgun, flanked by Collins. This might be a forward option here. Collins is the man that gets it. Down inside the 10 again. Lieber made the tackle. Derek Yates is down, injured. Sold out Memorial Stadium for the 247th time. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Dodge. If you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns, Dodge. Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, investments. Discover the power of Pacific Life. Burger King, home of the Whopper, and America's Dairy Farms, the power of cheese.
Boy, it's a great day in the Midwest, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. And right now, Derek Yates isn't thinking it's that gorgeous.
Well, he did walk off.
The ball is inside the 9-yard line now. We'll call it the 8 with a 2nd down and goal. 3 wide receivers set for Eric Crouch, and again he's in the shotgun. He'll keep it himself. Crouch cuts outside. Inside the 5 and down near the 3. As they got back to where the original line of scrimmage would have been before the chop block. Watch the moves Eric Crouch has.
Garrison and Cody, the offensive lineman. Tyler didn't have a chance.
Tyler just waved a hand.
He didn't see those guys coming from the inside, though.
The fans to our right are loving this, because the third quarter's come to a close, and they'll see their Cornhuskers have it in a goal-to-goal situation inside the 3 when the fourth quarter starts. 28-14. The number 2 team in the country with a huge third quarter. An ABC Sports presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Nebraska had 8 home games, was 1905. He was there. I think. Or hat was. The hat was definitely here.
Was there, yeah.
We start the fourth quarter. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan. The Huskers with a 3rd and goal just outside the 3-yard line. Collins in motion. He gets the handoff on the end around. A stiff arm looking for some blockers, and now a flag down. And this one lost big yardage.
I tell you what, I've seen that play all over college football. I don't think I've ever seen that play work. And I usually get behind the offenses when I do a game, and I'm rooting for each offense. And that's one play.
Offense, the penalty is declined. 4th down.
So it's 4th down, and that'll bring out the field goal unit.
And the reason is that you're so close to the line of scrimmage into the offensive line, and you're running so fast sideways that you can't turn up.
Josh Brown will try a 28-yard field goal. He's missed one today. Snap was a little bad. The hold was good, though, and the kick is. Josh Brown from 28. And that puts the Huskers in front now 31-14. Nebraska has dominated the second half. Our Pacific Life game summary. Darren Diedrich did a lot of the work, got in the end zone and the 2-point conversion. Then the defense took over and stuffed Roberson back-to-back sacks. And then DeJuan Gross on a picture-perfect punt return of 60 yards. And Roberson trying to throw again, and for the second time, Willie Amos with the interception. And he takes it back, and that set up the field goal. And the last time there was a Nebraska player that had 2 interceptions in a game, it was Mike Brown against Texas A&M back in 1999. The funny thing
Where's Mike
about
Brown
that,
now?
Mike Brown, the last 2 weeks has won overtime games for the Chicago Bears. And one other part of that, DeJuan Gross is from a Cleveland suburb. DeJuan Gross said this week, my man is killing. He killed my Cleveland Browns in overtime. But at least it's Mike Brown, and he's a Cornhusker.
Yeah, it's an ex-teammate.
Again, the high kick. Scobie takes at the 19, and this time, nice return out to the 40. 21-yard kick return. And good field position for Kansas State to work with, but they're 17 down now. Reminder, next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, Syracuse and Miami. Miami survived today. Michigan, Wisconsin, Washington State, and Washington in the Pac-10. And Michigan, Wisconsin. Michigan a winner today over Minnesota. So they continue what they hope is their drive to the Big Ten title. Last time we saw Penn State was beating Illinois 21-7. New quarterback is Mark Dunn. Roberson may be done for the day. Here's the big fella, Hall, and he's running over people. Hall all the way down to the 36-yard line of Nebraska.
He was a big item a couple of years ago when he first got to
literally
Kansas
a big
State.
item.
Yeah. And had a little problem. I don't think he was going to class. Got that all squared away last year. Now he's back. And he's a load.
That's a career-long run for him. 22 rumbling yards down to the 36-yard line. Lockett and Clark are the wideouts to the right side. Sproles will be the motion man as they give it to the big fella again, and Hall got about 4. T.J. Hollowell made the stop as Nebraska right now has some of their backup people in defensively.
I don't think there's been any injury to L. Roberson, but in the past, Snyder has just alternated the quarterbacks. I think he wants to get Dunn in, see what he can do. He's a junior college guy, as you mentioned.
Well, L threw a touchdown pass and he ran for one, but he made a couple of terrible decisions on throws that shouldn't have been made.
Yeah.
Here's Sproles. They fake that play. Bob hates, and they go to the big guy. And Hall's to the 29-yard line. Scott Shanley, the linebacker, made the hit.
Well, quarterbacking and especially throwing the football is so much decision making. You have to make right decisions. And Roberson is playing for the first time this year, and you have to learn, when to make decisions and when to let it go and when not to.
Well, Roberson and Dunn combined had never made a Division I-A start as quarterbacks this year, so that's what Kansas State came into this season with. And here's Scobie. I think he's got the first down. Josh trying to stretch it out down to about the 26-yard line. Going to be very close, maybe close enough to measure.
Well, Brad and Bob, Mark Dunn at least brings in that age factor, that winky factor of being an older guy behind center and some more maturity. And he's from Utah. He went on the mission for 2 years down in Santiago, Chile. I mean, here's a guy who's married. He's 23 years old, and he's not the kind of guy that, like a Chris Winkie, that's going to hang out late at night with the guys. He's got responsibility, and I think you'll see those kinds of things show up in his leadership on the football field.
His wife Elizabeth wouldn't let him hang out at night.
Yeah, his passing stats are not that much different than L. Roberson's, but he does bring a little bit different flair to the position.
Well, he obviously put up huge numbers in junior college.
Yeah.
He was the NJCAA's Player of the Year, 4,351 yards and 42 touchdowns just last season. So he knows how to throw the ball.
And both of these guys are young. They'll both be back next year, so this offense should get nothing but better.
At the 26-yard line, it's a first down. And now it's Cartwright. And Cartwright got to the 23. Nelson and Kelsey combine on the stop.
Every time I see a tight end standing up at the line of scrimmage, like the Kansas State tight end.
Think of Iowa, don't you?
I think of Hayden Fry.
Hayden Fry.
And Bill Snyder was at Iowa with Hayden, and I saw the tight end for Kansas State standing up. There's a look at Warren. He's getting down this time.
I'd be willing to bet you Coach Fry is watching this game.
Yeah, I bet he is. And all the best to you if you're watching, Hayden.
Straight ahead is Hall to the 21. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and a long 5. Reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. With Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler on a gorgeous day in Lincoln, Nebraska, especially for November. Pretty good football game, but the Huskers have dominated since halftime when they trailed by 1, and they hadn't trailed in a second half all year. They're making up for it here so far, but Kansas State's got something going. They need this 3rd down. They're 4 of 11 on their 3rd down conversions. Dunn fires out to Scobie, but a great open field hit by DeJuan Gross.
That's just good defense. Craig Bowl, the defensive coordinator, playing man coverage. Stop the run. Everybody else play your man.
Here's the Cleveland suburb native I was talking about, DeJuan Gross, with a big hit.
These corners are very good.
Yeah, they are.
Carver on one side, Gross on the other side. Sweeney is the 3rd corner. He has 37 starts in his career, and he's the number 3 guy.
4th down and got to go for it for Kansas State. 4th and 8. 3 wideouts for Dunn. Here comes a blitz. Dunn lofts it. Got a man.
Nope.
A touchdown, though. Clark couldn't hold it, and Gross was covering him.
I tell you what, the ball was right there.
Clark just couldn't find the handle. Good throw. And Nebraska will take over on downs when we come back. 10 minutes and 45 seconds left in the ball game. Kansas State just that close to a touchdown, but the Huskers hold. What a sight, huh? Sun going down in Lincoln. Our Pacific Life game summary in this one. Dominated by Nebraska in this second half. Kansas State a couple of turnovers. Only 32 passing yards, and that was the touchdown catch. 2 Willie Amos interceptions for Nebraska. Crouch, a rushing touchdown on the ground. 60 yards through the air. The most important one, that screen pass to Thunder Collins of 45 yards that set up one of Eric's runs. That was the 14-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Second half has been all Nebraska.
No tradition of Cornhusker football. 763 wins. We mentioned earlier 5 national championships, 3 of those in the 90s. 32 consecutive bowl bids. A couple of Heisman Trophy winners. Name them quick. Who's the 2 Heisman Trophy winners?
Rogers and what's his name?
Yeah, Mike Rozier. See, you can't just say what's his name. Yeah, that's cheating. Nebraska works on offense now, and Crouch got maybe a half yard. Josh Buell stayed home, made the stop. Those 763 wins, number 3 all time, by the way.
This could be the 3rd right here. You know, it's with players getting in problems around the country, suspensions in here.
Sean Foster didn't play today, and Kenny Dorsey threw 4 interceptions today, and we don't quite know how Joey Harrington's doing, but Eric Crouch is in the hunt. There's no doubt about that. And you and I and Swanee are all alike in that we can't stand talking about the Heisman on the first week of the season, but I don't mind in week 11.
Right. Down the road where we got something to talk about. Now, you can't look at Eric Crouch as a pure quarterback. And you can't look at him as a pure running back. You got to do a little combination stuff.
Look at him as a winner. He's on his way to his 35th win in 40 starts. That ain't bad. 31-14. We got 10 minutes, 4 seconds left in the game. 10:04 left to play. Nebraska leading by 17. They've scored 18 unanswered points. They were down at halftime by 1.
They've done the same thing to Kansas State in the second half that they did to Oklahoma. They came back out. They won the game in the second half.
Second down and a long 9 for Crouch. On the give to Diedrich. Up the middle, and Darren. Hey, he can stumble for 4 yards. Looked like he was going to be stopped at the 29. He got all the way out to the 32. We talked about Eric Crouch. He's been mentioned among the Heisman and all the other awards. He talked with us about what that means.
All the things that have come up this year have really been exciting things for me, things that I look at and I'm very proud of. And you know, I know that it's a possibility for one of those awards to be you know, sitting on my shelf someday. And you know, the feeling is, you know, makes me speechless in a way.
Diedrich is going to be dropped for a loss.
I mean, when you talk about Crouch, I mean, you have to talk about Eric Crouch, the football player, and what he does and how he does it. You can't compare his numbers with Ken Dorsey or Grossman or Harrington at Oregon. You can't compare him stat for stat passing numbers. You have to compare his rushing and what he does in the option and all this other stuff. No option quarterback has ever won the Heisman, but this guy should be one of the top considerations. I'm not saying that he should win it.
Right.
We're just saying he should be right there.
Well, he's on pace to go over 1,000 yards rushing, of course, and end up with who knows what, anything from 1,500 to 2,000 passing. And he said this year 2,000 passing was one of his goals, actually. And if you throw for 2,000 and run for 1,000, you've had a season.
Offense, 5 yards, replay.
Well, I also asked him yesterday, as we take a look at the career wins.
He can get all the way up to Rick Leach if they run the table. He can't catch Peyton. They don't have enough games even if they make the Rose Bowl and win it.
Yeah. I asked him, I said, what would you rather have, 50-yard touchdown pass or a 50-yard run? He says, I've had a lot of 50-yard runs.
You take a few of those passes. Larson to kick. He just got it away. They put some pressure on him. Lockett will field from the 34. Aaron Lockett out near midfield. About a 16-yard return. And good field position again for Kansas State, but the clock is working against him, and so is the scoreboard. 8:23 to play. It's 31-14 Nebraska. From midfield, trailing by 17. And time running out on them. They need some points, and they need them fast. Dunn's the quarterback in for Roberson, who threw and completed only one pass today. That was for a touchdown. And they need several more completions right now. Here's a pitch on the end around. Little room for Sproles. Nice run. Willie Amos knocked him off his feet, but Sproles got 20.
Sproles lined up as a wide receiver. He's a running back, a true freshman running back. Came back, snapped the ball when he was right behind the formation, faked to the fullback and then pitched to him, and you got this play with a running back. This, you know, Kansas State, you know, they don't miss much. I mean, Ron Hudson and Snyder doing a nice job offensively.
Sproles, a 10-600 guy in high school, got 20 on that last carry. Now it's Hall. Hall down to the 25. Under 8 minutes here. Let's check in with John at Times Square Stadium in New York.
Well, Brad, NC State is looking to become the first ACC team to beat Florida State twice. Hard to imagine, but that's Ray Robinson, 24 yards on that touchdown run, a 31-21 lead right now. Elsewhere, Oregon has just taken the lead over UCLA on a Harrington touchdown pass, and Penn State has fallen behind the Illini by 3.
Got a few that are going to go down to the wire.
Yeah.
Second down and 5. Dunn running for his life, trying to get a throw off to Lloyd, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up third down.
Bunch of close games this afternoon.
Yep. So Dunn's got a 3rd and 5 upcoming.
You know, the last 2 games, Kansas State has run for a lot of yardage, but in each game they've only completed 5 passes. I don't think they've completed that many today. I think they've only had 2 completions.
Can't be that one-dimensional. Maybe they complete one, but it's so short it might as well have been a run. Cartwright at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he got 2 feet out of that.
Yeah, that's their 3rd completion of the day.
Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John and Terry will have scores and highlights from around the country and update all those nail biters that John just told us about, all those in the games that occurred earlier today. Miami had to struggle and survive to remain unbeaten. The last time I saw, BYU and Wyoming were tied. That was at halftime, though, so that game's close to where we are, which we're at 6:40 remaining here. The 3 unbeatens coming in. Miami, BYU, and this Nebraska team trying to go to 11-0. Dunn completes it, and it's a first down toss down to the 17-yard line. Got it to Lockett.
Lockett was a big part of this offense in the past, but he was not the main receiver. He was not the go-to guy. This year, he was the main guy and not catching as many passes.
He had just one catch in the last 3 games coming into this one.
Career-wise coming in, he had caught 129 passes and 13 touchdowns.
That was number 4 in both categories in Kansas State history. Dunn tried to go to him again and skipped it off his hands at the 12-yard line.
Well, you got to make that play. Whether the ball was thrown too hard and too high or Lockett should have hung on. But you're in that situation, that should just be a no-brainer. You got to make the play. Lockett in motion. He's going to stop and go work back to the outside. Oh, you got to catch that. You got to catch that ball.
Lockett will trot out with Lloyd to the right side. As the dual receiver there.
Might have been able to run that ball in the end zone.
Brandon Clark comes wide left. Looked like Nebraska was offside if Dunn can get a throwaway, but he can't because Kelsey tracks him down from behind, and now Nebraska going the other way with the ball. I think this is all coming back with an offside call.
Yeah, but the quarterback is getting up very slowly.
Or not at all.
He didn't see Kelsey coming up from behind.
It's offside, Nebraska. It'll all come
Offside
back if Mark Dunn can get his wits about him.
Right here.
There's Adams offside.
Getting a jump.
You call this a free play until Kelsey comes from the backside and plants his helmet right between your shoulder blades.
Yeah. There's some point in time where an official will blow a whistle and say, stop the play because we don't want the quarterback to get hurt. But if it happens there's a good shot of a quarterback maybe getting hurt. A big defensive lineman coming up from behind. But then you don't stop it because, well, he just jumped offside a little bit, and now you get a free play. And that's what he was trying to get.
Roberson's going to have to come back in.
Yeah.
Dunn's just too shook up right now. They have a 2nd down and 5. This will be a great opportunity. Roberson with a good wheels. And that's what they're thinking run here. And they get run here, but he still finds a way to get down near the goal line. All the way to the 1.
L. Roberson is just a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore, so he'll have 2 more years in this system. Remember Michael Bishop? He was a great runner who got better and better as a passing quarterback in this same style of system. That is, forget about the short routes and all that other stuff. Throw the ball down the field deep and maybe some screen passes.
Well, Jonathan Beasley's never going to make anybody forget you or Namath, but he got better too as a quarterback.
There you go.
In for the touchdown is Joe Hall. So now it's 31-20.
Brad, Bob, I've decided that the only way to get ready for a back like Joe Hall is to bring in a couple of bulls at practice. Or go take all your defensive players and send them to the rodeo and strap them in.
Hey, I just have 3 cheeseburgers on a platter and go the opposite direction.
The extra point now by Ream. Oh, he tucked it in there barely. So 31-21. And still 5:22 remaining. The big guy, 290, 300, whatever. Touchdown from a yard out. Nebraska's lead's been cut to 10. 5:22 left. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan with you from Lincoln. All right, boys, do you onside kick here or not?
I say no. Lynn, what do you say?
I say yeah. I say go for it. I mean, look at the way Nebraska possessed the ball in the first drive of the second half. If they don't do it now, Nebraska could get up the whole 5 minutes and the game's over anyway.
Well, look, Lynn, turn around, look at the field. Nebraska's not ready for an onside kick.
Oh, don't be surprised. They could be fooling everybody.
They only got 5 guys within 10 yards of the ball.
Okay, so I'm not a coach.
We find out right here as they kick differently than they have all day, actually. Down the bounce, taken at the 4 by Josh Davis. And Davis got out to the 25-yard line. That's where Nebraska has it with 5:12 left. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. New Pepsi Twist. Pepsi and Diet Pepsi with a twist of lemon. Morgan Stanley, formerly Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. Move your money, get well connected. And Original Coors, nothing beats an original. And almost nothing beats the weight room at Nebraska, if you've ever had a chance to look at it. You only need one little corner of that for what most of us do, workout-wise.
Yeah. I go in there every time I'm in Nebraska, Brad, and the coaches, the guys over there, boy, that play, very helpful.
It's quite a place in itself. Crouch on the keeper. Eric got a couple.
Well, obviously, what Kansas State needs is a stop. 3 and out or a turnover. And you're trying to do that against one of the best rushing teams in the history of college football.
Kansas State has its full complement of timeouts as we're under 5 minutes now. Eric Crouch at the controls with Collins at tailback. Crouch with Davies in front of him. Keeps it. Late pitch to Collins. Down the sideline, and he cuts back to the middle of the field. Wisely not going out of bounds. He picks up 18 and a first down.
Nice play by Collins and a risky play, somewhat risky by Crouch to pitch it that late. You don't see Eric pitch it a lot. He likes to keep the ball. It looked like Collins might have been a little bit surprised. He was near the sideline and just kind of said, all right, Eric, I'm going to watch, see what you do here.
Nice cut back to the middle of the field to keep the clock moving.
Of course, we asked Derek about pitches and that kind of thing yesterday. He said he once ran down the field about 15 yards waiting for a pitch.
We can believe that. At the 46. Now you go with a fullback right up the middle, Judd Davies. And we're under 4 minutes.
Well, you talk about Nebraska, you know, they're off next week, Brad. They have one more game left, and it's at Colorado. Colorado, over the years, has been a very tough opponent for Nebraska. They've beaten them the last 4 times, but it's been all 4 games have been very close.
They've got it out to the 49-yard line. 2nd down and 7. We'll take a look at other scores from around the country today. Nebraska trying to stay perfect, leading by 10. They can't drop the football here. That's the main thing, and Crouch just ran for another first down. Big time run. McGraw tripped him up, but they'll move the sticks again. Crouch is over 100 on the ground.
Brad, Fulton, number 77, has been doing a great job. And we talked about his size. Take a look at his calf. They measured his calves. His calves are 21 inches around. That's almost 2 feet. Matter of fact, Thursday during practice, I noticed how big his calves were. I walked over to Thunder Collins, number 1. I put my hands around his thighs, about midway up his thighs. Fulton's calves are bigger than his thighs.
Unbelievable legs on the guy. They list him as Collins takes it laterally for about a yard. They list him at 340 pounds. We've heard anywhere from 340 to 363, and he's 19 years old.
6'4", 340 is listed. Just a young guy, but you look at him, he looks like he's 30, 35 years old. He could get in.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I won't.
He could get in where we're going tonight, is what you were going to say.
Yeah. He can get anywhere he wants. Just that big being size, you know.
2nd down and 9. You led me right down that, and I took the bait. Here's Crouch keeping as he sweeps the left side. He wants to stay in bounds. Took a big hit to pay for it. Pierce made the tackle, and we're down here 2 minutes. 2 minutes away from Nebraska going to 11-0 and running their winning streak at home to 21 straight. And as Bob said, then it's Colorado in an all-important game on Thanksgiving weekend, and if they win that one, it's the Big 12 championship in Texas to wrap things up. If they can do that, they'd go to the Rose Bowl to play for the national championship. So right now, in their final home game of the year, they're 158 away from being 11-0. 21:206 left. Swanee talked about it earlier. This place could be called the International House of Pancakes. We're going to watch a play after this next snap with number 77. In fact, we got time to do it right here. This is what an All-American lineman looks like. Watch this. He runs over a 250-pound linebacker and says, you know, Lieber, way to hang in there, buddy. Holy cow. That's something else. He's had a bunch of those this year.
He's Hawaiian. He was just inviting him out to the islands.
Crouch is going to throw a play action, and it's intercepted. So Kansas State has life. And it's McGraw who picks it off.
Not a very good throw.
Going for Wilson Thomas. That surprises me a little bit.
That call was from the bench. Frank Solich calling. Had a lot of time to talk about it. A lot of time to think about it. Too high, way too high. He never saw the McGraw from the other side coming over.
Well, this game's not over yet.
Crouch thought that there was only one defensive guy back there. McGraw backed up from the other side, and Eric never saw it.
Kansas State takes over. Dunn's back in at quarterback after being shaken up by Kelsey. And now they go with a 3 wide out offense from their own 10-yard line. Dunn has to dance around. Finally pulls a trigger, has Lockett, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Ricketts. And Nebraska's got it right back.
What you're seeing here is the left hand of both of these offenses. Neither one of them likes to throw. We said coming into the ball game, Nebraska was first in the nation running and 109th passing. Great interception. Nice play on the football. Kansas State's just about as bad. They're about 105th in the nation passing the ball and 5th rushing.
For all you southpaws out there, Bob meant this isn't a left-handed team in either case.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're forcing them to do
they're offsuit.
What they don't want to do.
Right. And so Nebraska takes over, and I bet they won't throw. Diedrich looking for his 100. That might be it, or very close to it. Let's check in John Saunders as we've got 1:40 left here.
Guys, Joe Paterno perhaps pulling out a little magic here. Falling down 27-21 to Illinois. Watch Larry Johnson. Should have been tackled 3 or 4 times. Comes out of the pack and then takes off. Searching for daylight and the touchdown. 97 yards on the kick return. And Penn State has grabbed a 1-point lead just about 3 minutes away from going 4-4 after starting 0-for.
Wow, that's something else, huh?
Well, they have some weird games down over there in Illinois, don't they?
Yes.
Michigan a couple of years ago.
Davies, the fullback, keeps for a first down run, and now the clock and everything else in the favor of the Cornhuskers. 1:06 left. They lead by 10.
Nebraska moves on. 3 undefeated teams. Well, Miami and Nebraska at least.
Miami has won 18 straight. That's the longest in the country. Nebraska now will have won its 13th straight. 21 straight at home, which is the longest in the nation as well.
Nebraska goes to Colorado in a couple of weeks, and then the Big 12 championship game.
Diedrich over 100 himself and dancing for more. There and down to the 15. So 200-yard rushers today for Nebraska. In Diedrich and Crouch. There's what Bob's talking about. This will go as a W to make it 11-0.
Yeah.
This is a team that could end up 14-0.
Yep. Colorado, that's in 2 weeks. The Buffaloes are also open next week, so they both have a week to prepare, 2 weeks to prepare for that game.
This is the 11th time in school history that Nebraska had won 10 games, and they're about to go to 11 again. They've done that before as well. Final play of the ball game here. Crouch. And that's going to do it. Nebraska wins on senior day. At home, packed house, had to fight for it. There's McGraw and Crouch. A lot of respect between those two and both these teams.
Yeah.
31-21 is the final. Our Chevrolet players of the game, we just mentioned one, John McGraw, who had 11 tackles and an interception, and Willie Amos had 2 interceptions. First guy since Mike Brown to have 2 picks in a game for Nebraska. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each university's general scholarship fund in their names. Still unbeaten, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and still unbeaten, the Hurricanes of Miami. Are they on a collision course? We don't know yet. A lot of football left in the season. Final score, 31-21 Nebraska. That's going to wrap it up from Lincoln. For Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler saying so long from Lincoln, Nebraska. A winner for the Cornhuskers by 10 over Kansas State. Time now to join John Saunders at Times Square Stadium in New York. John.